Welcome back.
Welcome back. It is just us two today. So sorry to disappoint if anyone expected otherwise. But it's me. Hi, I'm Spencer if you're new here. And that's Caitlin. I feel like I realized we probably haven't introduced each other in a really, 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 really long time. But we're so happy if you're new here. And if you're old here, we respect all.
We like everyone, whether you're new or old.
But make sure if you are new here to please go ahead and leave us a little thumbs up and subscribe and, put the notification bell on. We're filming on Monday. We've been filming on Tuesdays. We wanted to go ahead and talk about game one since two of the game twos are going to start tonight. So we wanted to go ahead and break it down for you guys, all of our thoughts and reactions. And we can't wait to hear what your thoughts and reactions are as well. So, thank you.
No, that was, first of all, fantastic spiel. Second of all, the bug.
Oh, the bug that's been plaguing you?
It literally just crawled across. It's literally taunting me. But also,
it's still there.
Yeah, it's just the same one.
Oh.
It's just it. I need to spend more time up in here and just fight that bug. But yeah, listen to Spencer and look at her. Just stare at her, please, for like 5 seconds because I literally can't stop. I'm like, I didn't realize that my co-host was a supermodel. Okay.
I told Caitlin, I was like, thank you a lot because I spent like just a few extra minutes because I am going to the game tonight, but I have to go back to work after we film. So I have to do nanny things literally until I go to the game. Like I'm going straight from work to the game. So I took like a little extra effort. So I'm glad that it paid off and that Caitlin thinks I'm hot because she's pretty much the only opinion that matters.
Dude, she turned on the camera and I was like, gasp.
Okay, stop glazing me. Anyway,
okay.
It's going to get to my head. My head is big enough. I'm just so kidding. Anyway, I had so much fun this weekend. I was at the DNVR bar on Saturday, and shout out to Julian if you're watching this. It was so lovely to meet you. And I texted Caitlin after you came up to me, and I said, someone loves our show. And he told me in person, and it was so nice of you. And it made my day, and it made Caitlin's day. And so thank you very much. It means the world to us. When you guys say nice things. No, literally, I literally was in shock. So thank you for doing that. It literally made my weekend. But anyway, yeah, was it Julian Strother? No. William. He was preparing to sit on the bench in Ball Arena.
It's
busy.
like Julian Strother just like sprinting in his jersey.
I
and
had
he's like,
to tell you. I love you sports.
I know you do.
I know, Juju. It's so funny though, because Caitlin and I were Caitlin wasn't there, sorry. But I was talking about how Caitlin and I love Peyton Watson and Julian Strother, that even though they're not that much younger than us, it feels like they're our children. And we always make that joke, like, come on, we're going to Disney. Hop in the minivan.
You guys deserve ice cream after today's game. It has been quite
you guys did a lot of good sitting on the bench. Well, Peyton got a few minutes. Anyway, I figured Caitlin and I didn't really have time to talk about anything because she hopped on and I hopped on
2 seconds
right before we went live. But I figured we would go and order Caitlin. I figured that would be the easiest thing.
I love that.
So let's talk Bucks Pacers. I feel like we don't have to talk a long time, I feel like, about this game. I feel like there wasn't too much to glean about, but I'd love to hear your thoughts.
I was actually super shocked by this game. I did not think that the Pacers would win by 20, but it makes sense to me because I think if you remember, maybe a little over a month ago, I was talking about how one of the things that I love about the Pacers and one of their biggest advantages is that they don't necessarily have a number one option. They're a team full of number 2 and number 3 options. They have 6 guys on their team. Yes, they have 6 guys on their team that, go from averaging 10 to 22 points a game, I think. Like, so you have several guys that can put up double figures every game. Everyone's involved. It's like straight up team basketball. Tyrese Halliburton has kind of like taken on a true point guard role with his shot not always falling. It was a basketball game.
They did play.
Yeah, I was going to say, Mr. Kyle Kuzma won the Easter egg hunt when I tell you he found all the eggs with his 0-0-0-0-0 stat line.
As I have
disgusting.
trademarked him as Kyle Luzma. And
Me too,
I
Luzma.
literally said when I was at the bar and we were watching, I was like, this is what happens when you acquire Kyle Kuzma. This is what happens.
No, I'm like, when you're putting 30 minutes in a game and you are putting up straight zeros and you're like a minus 28 in a 20-point loss. Come on. And I totally agree, Richard. That's exactly what I was talking about.
Are you not
embarrassed? Literally. Because like, so while Hallie isn't a traditional number one scorer, he's just like, he's obviously, we all know this. He has one of the best. He has one of the best assist to turnover ratios. He's a clean point guard, makes great passes. He's a great facilitator for his team, a floor general, if you will. He's fantastic at that.
I felt like last year he scored a lot more. So I think
totally,
myself included, this year I was like, what happened to him? But the fact that he kind of has just turned into like this total like facilitator role, to get, 12 assists, was in, he had a 10, 7, and 12. So it's not what I was expecting from him. I think I was planning for him to turn into kind of like maybe that like Cade Cunningham role where you're dropping 30, but also getting 10 assists. But he was a plus 27. He was 3 for 13. So I think he should probably just stop shooting.
All in.
Put the ball down, maybe. I mean, he's been struggling with his shot kind of all season, but at least he is also passing. Because there's nothing worse than the point guard that's just shooting and not making anything, but then he's not really helping other people get looks
Not facilitating either.
Yeah. So Pascal Siakam was amazing this game. He had 25, 7, and 2 and a steal, shooting almost 70%. I think from the field, the whole Pacers were shooting 51.9% from the field. Bucks were shooting 41. I mean, what I gathered was that literally get Giannis some help.
That was exactly what I was going to say.
36,
is that Giannis
12, and 1?
He's by himself. Like Giannis literally is the only like true scorer on his team, especially when Dame is not playing. Yeah, especially when Dame is not playing. And so it's literally just him and then like a bunch of like role players who are used to like maybe rebounding, maybe assisting, maybe a little bit of defense. But when you have a team like the Pacers where they have an entire team full of guys that can put up double figures, and then you're playing against a team that has Giannis and a bunch of goose eggs, like you're screwed. And I don't know if that's like, is that how this entire series is going to go? Because it kind of feels like it could be.
It kind of feels like it too. And Cam, you're actually right. Like the Pacers can live with Giannis putting up 40 because no one else is scoring. Like it was so painful. And like no one was even like, their second highest like field goal attempts was from AJ Green. Like you're losing. He was like 5 for 13. Like you're losing when that's the case. And I know they have Dame out, so I would say I saw like a lot of news places that were thinking that if the Bucks go down like 2-0, that they don't even know if they'll like waste their time bringing Dame back. Because a lot of people were saying he would be ready by game 3, but they were like, do you even try? It's just, I mean, they were running circles around them and they just kind of, again, like everyone was just like, there was like 12 points here, 15 points here, and it was just like, they never let their foot off the gas. And I feel like Pacers have been, just because they're not the Cavs or the Celtics have been maybe underestimated. I don't know. Like,
Totally.
I think I really thought that this series was going to be a close one, and maybe it will be. Like, you know, who knows? People get punched in the mouth and then they come back. So I'm like prepared to eat my words. I will always admit when I am wrong. So it could be a different thing, but I just don't see it becoming any different with Dame on the bench. I felt so bad for him because he like started like arguing with Hallie. But I was like, I can't imagine watching my team get beat up and I can't do anything about it. Like, it's not even my fault. Like, I have to sit here and watch everyone like F this up. So I felt bad for Dame. And I mean, I would get chippy too, because I would just be so frustrated. I'm such a competitive person that I like in that moment, I felt exactly what like Dame felt. Like, I was like, I get it, buddy. Like, this is really shitty situation to be in. So it'll be interesting to see how they come out. I'm assuming their game's tomorrow. All these other teams got 2 days off. Cool.
I feel like they
Knicks
don't
and Pistons are tonight.
Right.
No, it's literally just Knicks, Pistons, and Clippers
and then
and
us.
Nuggets.
Yeah,
I see how it is. No rest for the wicked. Fair.
Thanks for that.
We know how you feel about the Nuggets. But yeah, I didn't have too much. Like, it was a whooping. It was like total belt to ass situation.
A bad game.
As were most of these games, which is why like the games that were like that, I mean, like that there's like not too much to say, I don't think. Like, I mean, do you have anything else to say about them?
Nope, not at all. Ass whooping, and it was beautiful.
The Denver Nuggets. Oh. The Denver Nuggets, guys. If you didn't know, we won the game in overtime.
I thought we were gonna get swept.
Okay, thank you, Danielle. We love you so much. Anyway.
Okay, but like, you're really sweet to like include me in there, Danielle. But like, literally, I like keep staring at Spencer and I'm like, I think she's looking me in the eyes. I think she.
I don't do well with compliments because I don't know what to say. So thanks.
You're welcome. You're beautiful. Love you. Okay.
Okay. This is awkward. Anyway, moving on. Nuggets won, and I just want to say, Bill Simmons, I'm disappointed in you because I listened to your show this morning, and I know you're not watching this because you don't know who I am. That's fine. Him and Russello kind of did all their like game one reactions. I watched an hour and a half of it, and they are big Jokic. They both voted for Jokic for MVP. So like, they weren't like, they're not usual Nuggets haters, but they did both pick Clippers to win the series. And they were like, I'm not trying to be biased, but if I'm a Nuggets fan, I feel worse out after that win. And they were like, yeah. And I was like,
why? Like, I don't, why have people been saying that? I'm like, no one even thought that we would win, and we did win.
To me, do I think that Michael Porter Jr. on his $40 million contract, as annoying as that was, and we'll get into that, is going to do that again? No, because
hopefully not.
If you don't watch the Nuggets, usually Michael Porter Jr. is one of those people that if he has a game like that, he really is good at getting himself back up. And if you didn't know, because again, like, we have a lot of our friends that aren't like all over Nuggets Twitter like we are, because they are not Nuggets fans inherently. Jokic actually almost called him out. Like, they asked, what can you do to engage Michael Porter? And Jokic said, if you're not, like, this is the playoffs. If you're not engaged, this is the wrong sport. Like, you shouldn't be playing this sport. Yeah. And I was like, period.
Yeah. He pretty much was just like, it's not, because they also were like asking him, like, how do you get him engaged? And he's like, I'm not a babysitter, you know, like, that's like kind of how I felt, was that like,
yes,
if we're not all already engaged, like, what are we doing? Like,
that's why it felt very much like a grown up answer. Like, and David Adelman is like it felt like, you know, like, he's an interim coach. So he was like a little more like, you know, like, do I wish I had him out there? Like, yeah, like, and, you know, if he's playing well and he's making shots and he's playing well defensively, like, he's going to be out there. So I really like that. It's like, it's not anyone else's job to get Michael Porter going. He is a grown man. He's 27 or 26 years old. Like, if he, and how many times have we been in the playoffs over the last few years? A lot. Like, he's won a ring. If you don't have that hunger anymore, that desire to win, like, I guess we can start with him because we're just already talking about it. But he used to, at least when he wasn't scoring, at least be on the boards, and sometimes still is, but it's just not consistent. And we need those. Like, if you're going to be under the basket, don't just stand there. Like, you're taking up space from someone else that might get a board, instead of the other 3 players for the other team and giving them the defensive rebounds. You know, like, I don't see the point of, if you're not making shots, you need to work your ass off to be trying to do anything else to help the team. Because otherwise, why are you there? Like, you're literally just a non-factor. So then it's the other team playing 5-on-4. So I'm glad he was benched. You know,
me too. I was like, I hope that makes you feel bad.
I don't know if, like, Malone has been in regular season, it felt like trigger happy to like take MPJ out, but like, I don't know if he would have sat him as much as Adelman did. And I respected it. And I hope Mike comes back, you know, tonight, but it's like, you need to, for yourself, have some shame, because everyone else is working their ass off. Like, we were down 15 at one point in the first. Like, the first quarter defense was atrocious. You made one shot. You made one shot in the first minute and a half, the very first shot, and did not score for the rest of the game. You were on a $40 million contract. I don't want to like keep like digging into him, but like, it's just, come on, dude. Like,
you gotta be there.
You can't do that. Like, it's been so many times in the playoffs where he has disappeared, and like, he did well in the Lakers series last year. And then I think they said in the last, and don't quote me on these numbers because I'm not exaggerating, but I don't know the exact numbers. It'll be within like 1 or 2. It was like his last playoff games. It was like scored 3, 8, like 6 and 7. You're making $40 million to be our shooter. Like, you're not here for defense, like, because you don't have any defense. So, like, if you're not providing that shooting, like, I don't know why you're out there.
Why are you here? Yeah. Well, and like, I mean, one thing that like I really appreciated from like Jamal was that I wouldn't say Jamal had a bad game. He definitely didn't have a great game. He was fine. He scored 21 points. He had 9 rebounds, 7 assists, and a steal.
Missed a lot of the shots that he usually makes. Obviously, he had good looks. They just weren't falling.
Totally. Yes, and like, you know, but like on the same thing with him, like, you know, 9 rebounds, that's big for him. Like, it was good to see him on the boards. He was facilitating, and he was at least like engaged,
making plays.
Yes. And I feel like with him, like, he even came out and said during his presser, he was like, I need to be better. I think I can be better. I will be better. Me too. I'm like, you know what? Like, cause that's a good game for Jamal. Not a great game. It's a good game. It's fine.
Not abysmal, but he can be better.
Yes. And I like that he came out and was like, I can be better. I will be better. I need to be better. Like, we won the game, and you still have guys being like, we can even do better. We can do better than this.
Which Brendan Vogt was in arena for DNVR, and on the post game, he said that he was like, I wasn't eavesdropping, but I did overhear when I was doing locker room interviews. He said that like Murray and Jokic even like were still in game mode, like, you know, like 30, 40 minutes after the game ended, like they were going over plays, like they were both like, he was like not heated, but like really passionate. They were both like, oh, they were really, which I love to hear that. Like I really felt like they kind of decided like, screw this. Like, why? You know what? Like, we had a shitty season. We had injuries. We, you know, like we lost our defensive anchor, and we haven't been good enough. It really does feel like and I said this on Friday, I think I said, it depends on the Nuggets. Like, do I think the Nuggets can be better than the Clippers? Absolutely. It depends on them. And the first quarter defense was atrocious, and free eats for all the Jokic doesn't play defense in the first quarter. By all means, was he atrocious in the first quarter? Absolutely. Absolutely. It was, but so was everyone. It was disgusting. Yeah. It almost, I like to think that Jokic was kind of like a computer, like downloading info for later in the game. Cause I posted a video that people were like really interested about. I did not make the video. I found it and I wanted to share it with everyone because it showed, you know, Jokic like basically like Zubac's going drop, and then it was basically a play that they ran earlier where Zubac was going drop to switch Jokic onto Kawhi and AG onto is it Zubac? I think it's Zubac because it's Jokic, because the announcers were saying Zubac, but I thought it was Zubats.
I looked it up. I literally, because I was like, everyone says it differently. And I looked it up, and it says that the C in his last name is TS, Zubats. You are totally correct. You are. And that's why apparently, so his name is pronounced Ivatsa because the C is T. Yes, whatever it is. Yeah.
Because it's Ivy. Okay, so Ivica Zubats.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Anyway, I've been saying Zubats, but the announcers were saying Zubac. So I was like, well, it is Jokic, so maybe they're the right ones. Anyway. Okay, yeah. Anyway, so basically they did a play at the end in the fourth quarter. Jokic recognizes this. I mean, I will say, like, and I don't hate me, but like, I almost say that he probably has a better IQ than LeBron because I have like never seen a guy like that. That this is like every game where he saw a play literally first quarter and remembered
memorizes it.
So he saw that Zubac was about to do the whole drop so they could, rotate them or switch them. And he pre-switched. So Jokic went and you could tell AG was like, what? Because Jokic was like, you go, like put him on Zubac, and Jokic was on Kawhi. Because I will also say this, like Jokic knows his limitations and he knows what he's not best at. So it's like the fact that he has the defensive IQ at least to know that like he obviously is not the guy to be guarding Kawhi. Yeah. And as he's not a perimeter guard, he's not a rim protector. Like we know this and he knows this. So for him to have them pre-switched, so then when they did the same thing, Jokic was now on Zubac,
the one on Ibaka,
and AG was on Kawhi. It was just like literally, I just love watching him because it's like that's the stuff that makes him so special to our team. Is even if like he's not, like our rim protector, he has the knowledge. He did this with the Wolves earlier in the year, and Rudy and Ant literally were like, "How did he know our play, bro?" And they were like, "We didn't say it out loud because Jokic called out the
last play of the game.
Jokic called out their entire last play while they were like at the free throw line, like someone had one more free throw and they like literally looked at him like he was insane. I don't know how he does it. He's incredible. And for this was like hilarious because it was like an average Jokic game and it was like 27, like 13-9 or something stupid, or 27, 9, 13. So even like Jokic could be better. I will say like this, he does average a lower efficiency like percentage when Zubac is guarding him, so that might just be how this matchup goes. But yeah,
and I mean to be fair, Zubac is incredible. I think that's like great. A fair thing that he's going to be less efficient because like Zubac is one of the best rim protectors in the league. He's a very strong, a very smart.
Yeah, they're both like body wise. They're both, like a little. They're both like sturdy dudes. Like Jokic can't just bully him. I will say,
a fun matchup.
I was kind of shocked. It seemed like Zubac, if I'm the Clippers, it seemed like Zubac sat way too long in the fourth because Jokic checked back in after like he only sat for like 2.5 minutes, but like Zubac was like still on the bench for a while. And I'm like, if I'm the Clippers and like we're literally in a back and forth, like we're cutting the lead and then going back,
throwing him back in.
I'm putting Zubac in. So that was and Batum, I would love to. Batum is a great vet lead. He did great in this game. I thought like just as a good presence to have out there. But Norm Powell usually a Nuggets killer, and I think it's because Kawhi's back. He's just not touching the ball as much. Yeah. Thank God. I'm
happy with that.
I think what I'm upset about, and Cam said something earlier like, oh, if without the turnovers, they wouldn't have won the game. Harden said the same thing. I would just like to for some acknowledgement that Jamal and Russ both had game-changing turnovers to seal the game. Like Jamal poking the ball out from Kawhi. Like that's
a lot of these were
an accidental
turnovers. Yes.
Yeah.
These were forced turnovers. And that's what I was going to say is like, you can say, without these turnovers, we would have won. And that's absolutely true. But turnovers are a part of the game. So
especially
you lost
forced,
the game.
Yeah. Like
you lost the game and that's okay.
It was effort. Like, Jamal had that amazing play. Again, I love when Jamal is on, he does do everything and he can be, him and Jokic can be defensive liabilities during the regular season. But when they turn it on in the playoffs, like even if, Jamal was missing a lot of those open middies and we missed some layups, but for Russ to, as he said, go in there and fuck shit up. Excuse my language, as he said. Also, like,
yes.
You know what I mean? You get that turnover on James Harden. Like those are effort plays. Like that's not something that was an accident. That like, oh, James Harden lost the ball while dribbling. Like no, like we forced we deserved that win in my opinion. Like
yes, it was an effort. I think we fought for that win. Yeah, I don't think that that's something that like we accidentally fell into a win. We were up 5 with like 2 seconds left, and someone took a 3 in the end to cut the lead or to cut our lead to 2. Literally, just it was the last shot of the game. They knew they weren't going to win, and they still took the 3. But we were up 5. And I would say that like overall, like Kawhi, James Harden, and where's his butt? Oh, and Zubats, yes. Okay, I was like, why isn't he on my list? Kawhi, James Harden, and Zubats, they all played how I expected them to play. And
the first quarter for them was beautiful. I mean, like they were getting they were putting Jokic in the pick and roll, like, yay, they put Jokic in the pick and roll. You know that meme? Like, shut up. Yeah. They were putting Jokic in the pick and roll. Everyone was getting lost. They weren't rotating. And then, either James Harden would go right in for a floater, a midi, like that's like free eats for him, or they would drop it off to Norm Powell, like in the dunker. It was very, very Nuggets-esque in the first quarter. Watching Zubats and Norm Powell just get free eats by the basket. So
I know.
I felt David Adelman, like they didn't come in with a great game plan, but I felt they adjusted incredibly.
I was saying that like there was a timeout that David Adelman called, and it literally completely shifted like the momentum and the narrative of the game. We were down 15. He called the timeout. And it was a full timeout. We sat there. You could, see him working. You could see Jokic, yapping and writing shit up. And they get out of the timeout and they go on this huge run. And then that's when they literally took the lead. And so it's just
they cut it to 4 at the half.
Yes, they cut it to 4 at the half. Yes, and then they came out and I feel like they took
just kept
no, they didn't
away.
even take the lead until
the fourth,
like 4 minutes in the fourth. Yeah, 4 minutes
so
left
painful.
in the fourth.
It was so painful.
Was.
And James Harden, again, great in this game. 32, 6, and 11 assists. He was shooting 50% from the field. He was a net, like just a +/- or whatever, net neutral.
Yep.
That's what I was looking for. So like to have, James Harden had 32, Zubats had 21, 13 and 2, and Kawhi, I do think AG did a really good job on him. Oh my gosh.
Yep.
Sexiest play ever was when they pulled, I will never forget when cause the video was everywhere of, it was probably like Nickeil Alexander-Walker and like Jaden McDaniels last year, like trapping Jamal half court and like literally just smothering him without even like touching him. They did that to my guy Kawhi. Okay. AG and CB did that.
So good.
So good. They knew
they trapped him like,
had to be done.
They trapped him like right off of the 3-point line, and then they kept trapping him, and Kawhi kept dribbling backwards, and they got him almost to the half court line before he finally got the ball over to, I think, Batum. And the nice part was that
I think.
Yes, Jamal was already in his face with his hand up. I was like, that's a good defensive play. Like everyone was defensively engaged. Everyone had a role and they did it. Like, and having Jamal there, he was able to literally close out, pull up to Batum. Batum missed a 3. It was huge. No, I think he made the 3. But either way, it was amazing.
Either way, like great job to get it out of Kawhi's hands. You know what I mean? Like, and there were like a couple shots where like we played great defense and it was like dumped off to someone outside. Like you'll live with that all day, like to make sure you're not giving up the easy shot to Harden or Kawhi. Like before, I kind of want to maybe talk like before we move on to like a couple predictions for tonight's game. But I did want to say shout out to Russell Westbrook and CB hitting those big game changing triples. CB is such a dog and he's such a winner, and
he was made for the moment. He knocked that kind of
down those threes in the finals in his rookie year for us. Okay. So like I'm never worried about him. When I see him, if he hesitates, I don't think it's going in. But if he quick releases, I trust it. And a lot of people were saying, oh, like I'm so sure Russell like shot that. Russell's like 43% or something on corner threes. And also Simmons and Russello were talking about this. They said he had like 9 feet of open spacing on that 3. He said that That is the most space like someone has been like left open in a playoff game like that in like 11 years since they tracked.
I'm dead.
So when they say he was wide open, that man was wide open. They didn't trust. We knew they were going to dare him to shoot though, and he made them pay.
He did, and he was proud of it too. He turned and looked at their bench too, and was like,
I told you.
What about it? Well, and that's like the way that they did that with Russ. That's exactly what I was thinking that the Nuggets were going to do for the Clippers, because you do have great shooters, even like, Norman Powell, even though he didn't have a perfect game. Norman Powell, Kawhi, obviously you have Zubats, but he's down low. He's not someone that's going to sit around the 3-point line and shoot all day. James Harden, obviously. And, at that point, because we're not like the smartest defensive team or the fastest defensive team, like you almost have to choose a player that you're willing to leave open.
Yeah, the key is to try and get the Nuggets in rotation always, because they don't rotate quickly.
Exactly. And that's why I was like, if you're the Nuggets, you have to like choose someone on the Clippers that like you're okay with missing your assignment. Like you're okay with leaving him open if you don't get there fast enough. And I think that guy was Chris Dunn for them. Like he was kind of left open a few times and they dared him, and he didn't have a fantastic game. Like he did fine. He got 10 points and everything like that. But I think that he's going to be that guy that they're just going to let sit open on the corner too. Yeah, they'll dare him. So I don't know. I'm proud of how he played. I think we can be better, and I hope we continue to be better.
I'm proud of how we adjusted. I am nervous tonight because I wanted to read this comment. I'm more nervous after game one, honestly. LA didn't get half of what they could from that Zubats Harden pick and roll. I don't really think we solved anything they do. I disagree, but that's only because like I think Jokic really kind of uncovered their offensive scheme. Like they didn't seem to make any adjustments, so maybe they'll have like a new thing
adjustments for game two.
But after the first quarter, we really limited that pick and roll. So I think if people are making shots and I don't think Harden's going to be perfect every game. He could be, who knows? But I'd rather live with like Harden I'd rather live with how we played, on Saturday. So that's why I'm not more nervous. I am like nervous for this game because like I do think I respect the Clippers out of like all these matchups we've been watching. Like I think the Nuggets and Clippers are the most closely contested for like the quality of team. But again, like I really trust like Jokic and Jamal always to make those clutch time plays. Like when we get them in the clutch, get any team in the clutch, like I'm always, well, not always, because the last half of the season I didn't, but they reminded me last night that that's how I used to feel about the Nuggets. Like when you get them in the do or die situations, like the Nuggets usually can pull it out.
They figure it out.
I think we only went to overtime because Russ has not been a part of the core that is in the do or die and just decided to like dribble the ball out. And that was like my only criticism, but he made the 3 earlier. So I absolved him of that crime.
Made the 3 to tie it or to put us up.
Yeah, to put us up. He didn't get a shot off though. And that did piss me off, but it's fine. Same. You live and you die by Russ. We won that game and he was a big part of it. We don't win that game without Russ though.
Nope. I agree. I'm totally with you.
All right, should we move on?
Yes.
Let's talk Knicks Pistons. I'm very sad.
Me too. I actually loved this game, and I had a lot of fun watching it until it like got to the fourth. I think that the only thing, and I've been saying this, and I hate it because it's just the truth, and we talk about it with like the Warriors and stuff like that. I think that the only like leg up that the Knicks have on the Pistons is just experience and age, like they know how to close out tough games. Like Steph was talking about it after their game last night. The thing that experience helps with in the playoffs is that you never really get in your head. Like when you've been there, a team can go on a 20-0 run. And guess what? Like a lot of people don't think about it. Oh crap, a team just went on a 20-0 run and they're up 12 now, and we were up 8 before, whatever it may be. Okay, why can't we go on a 15-0 run? Like we can do this. Like you can do the same thing. You don't need to like, pull back and just like start, forcing things and everything like that. It's really just like about keeping your composure. And I think that the Knicks had that the entire game because at one point the Pistons did get up like 8-11 on them. Like they went crazy. The Pistons were up on them and like ruining their day over and over again. And you get to like the end of the third and the Knicks went on like a little run and then the Pistons just like completely
Collapsed.
lost. Yes. They just like completely lost their composure in the fourth, started throwing the ball away, not making smart plays and just not being the team that we watched for 3 quarters. Yes, exactly. I mean, they Knicks couldn't.
Literally, I think went on like a 21-0 run or something. And you just watched like the Pistons couldn't do anything about it. I think Cat was amazing this game. He had 23 points, 11 rebounds, 5 assists, 4 steals, 2 blocks. I think he was an incredible two-way player this game. You know, he was shooting 71%. I am looking at my phone to make sure I get this right. But he was shooting 71%. You know, he was 10 of 14 from the field. He only had 2 free throws. He was so good in this game. And then you have Brunson go for 34 points, 2 rebounds, 8 assists. I thought OG Anunoby was great in this game. He really limited Cade. You know, he had 23 points. Josh Hart had 13 points. Like, I think everyone started cooking towards the end and they literally caught fire. And the Pistons, again, like it did feel like the battle of the experience and like the youth of the team to where they like couldn't mentally combat it. I did think that Asar Thompson sat on the bench a little too long in the fourth. Like, you know, you need like when they're going on a run like that, like
your guys.
You need to call a timeout. Like call a timeout, get in, like switch up your rotation. Like you can't let that happen. Like in a playoff game that you were winning most of the game. So that was a tough watch. You know, Tobias Harris was great in the first half and then he disappeared. Like it very much was they played amazingly in the first half and then just kind of let it go at the end.
Yeah, they had a really hard time finishing the game. Whereas like the Knicks, I feel like, and maybe this is the benefit of them playing so many minutes and so many games all season, is that like, you know, you get down the stretch and you sit in the fourth and they're all like, this is a regular season game for me. I can play the whole fourth. Minutes.
I didn't even think about that, but that's so true.
Yeah, just because like, you know, like they're the kind of guys
tipped
where
us onto something.
Right. And, you know, like I think about that sometimes, like I think about his, the minutes that he plays the guys and I'm like, you know, like I appreciate it in some stances because I'm like, you know, you do get these guys really conditioned and they do say that a lot of the times, the more that you condition and the more that you, you know, do strength conditioning as well and things like that, the less likely you are actually to sustain injuries because your body is used to that. It's not like you're taking 3 days of breaks and then going to play a 42-minute game. Like this is something that they're consistently doing. And so their body is a little bit more used to that. Substantial amount of strength and conditioning every single day. But obviously, you know, you're going to be tired at the end of the season and during playoffs and stuff. I just think that like at that point, you have so many guys that have been in the playoffs between, you know, Kat and Brunson and Josh Hart and all these guys that have just like, they've been there. They were just there last year. And
Josh Hart was great defensively to this game. He was really active.
He was, yes. And that's like one of the biggest things for him in this series, I feel like, is just kind of being that almost like defensive, like he's like the cadence guy. Like he's the one that like sets the tone, sets the pace. Yeah. And you need that with a team like the Pistons who I think all just kind of set that pace. Like all of them are, yes, all of them are always physical, always fast, always like all in all the time. And it's exhausting playing against something like that. But I think, like I said, I think that the Knicks' obnoxious conditioning kind of just like helped them out in the end. That and their good decision making, like they kind of glided right through that fourth quarter and just plowed through the Pistons in a way that the Pistons would not have allowed in the first 3 quarters.
Yeah, I'm going to be interested to see how they play tonight because I think the Pistons are upset. Obviously, like they let that game go, and I expect this to be. I don't think this is a sweep, and I really would like. I still think that the Pistons could learn and come back, but again, like the experience might be too much for them. But I'm always rooting for the Pistons, so I would love it to still be Pistons in 6. But the best game ever.
This was like this one was the biggest shock to me. I'm not going to lie. I did not expect. No, actually, I would say that OKC Memphis was the biggest shock to me. This one was a big one, though.
I wasn't shocked by OKC Memphis. Maybe by the score. But like literally, I was like diabolical, like mwah, ha ha ha, like
that is
evil
hilarious.
laughing. I became the biggest Timberwolves fan for like 4 quarters, and I was actually interested. This was like all in the moment too, okay? Because I'm like, this is going to be my biggest hate watch ever. I was like, who do I really want to lose though? I was like, I think the Lakers. Like, I think I've decided that Lakers going home in the first round would feed my soul for years to come. So 2 years in a row to by like. You know, like that, just chef's kiss. So I all of a sudden was like, yeah, you guys suck. Especially after watching, you know, like Luka came out and was on fire. Like
he was playing amazing.
It was another one of those moments where I was like, oh my gosh, like Nico Harrison, you're a terrorist. Can't believe that you traded this guy.
You're a terrorist.
You are the worst ever.
Yeah.
And like Wolves, they ended up winning by 21. They didn't come to mess around. Now, I know everyone is going to be like, well, they shot, what was it? 50% from 3.
50.
I will have you know, this stat came out. Of their 42 3-point attempts, 27 were classified as wide open. 15 were classified as open. And 0, which a couple of people said was like a little exaggerating, were classified as very tightly contested.
That's crazy.
We're not playing defense. And I will say, shout out to us, because on Friday we said, I think it's going to be closer than people think for the Warriors' sake, because once they can get downhill, Rudy Gobert, Jackson Hayes was absolutely unplayable. He was a -11 in 8 minutes and then got benched. Literally, he free eats Rudy Gobert, like Jackson Hayes. I literally almost tweeted, Jackson Hayes, meet Rudy Gobert.
Welcome. That's his welcome to the league moment several years after he's in the league.
Especially after he said, I'm not worried about Rudy Gobert. I don't think Rudy's going to take lightly to those comments, and I don't think he did. And you got embarrassed to the point where you did not play more than 8 minutes.
I hate Rudy Gobert, and never will I downplay his talent or his ability to absolutely work anyone in the post. Like he's that kind of guy. And I was also so proud of us when we were talking about this game on Friday, because one thing that I said was that a lot of this game is going to be the Timberwolves front court versus the Lakers back court. And that's pretty much how it was. The Timberwolves front court ate up that non-existent ass Lakers front court. Free eats. Jackson Hayes played 8 minutes. Alex Len, they tried to throw him in there. They were like, what about you? For 3 minutes, he got a single rebound. Can you give us
something?
Wait, he got 4 rebounds. I lied. He did good. He got 4 rebounds in those 3 minutes. Couldn't score, couldn't do anything though. Yeah. Tragic. And then obviously, you know, you've got guys like Rui and Jared Vanderbilt, who are your forwards, who they're like, can you stand in the post? Can you do anything? No, you're getting
they had to have LeBron battling centers. Yeah, they had to have LeBron battling essentially 2 centers, 2 bigs. This is a great comment because I actually watched the interview. Luka had 49 passes and 1 assist. His team can't shoot. Thank you. I think Luka was trying to hold this back because they literally commented on it in his post-game presser. And he was like trying not to laugh because like they were like, 1 assist. Like, and I don't know if they were just like literally box watching and not watching the game in front of them because they were there in the stadium. But his team could not shoot to save their lives. It was so bad. And I think, which cracked me up, first of all, because, JJ, who said he literally spent 4 days awake and like dreamed about the one Nuggets regular season game. Maybe you should have done that for your playoff series. He was so outcoached. Too much ISO ball, no adjustments. 1000%. They didn't do anything. And I was like, Luka's going to be Luka. Luka's going to score, especially because of like what, they were saying Luka did to the Wolves last year. But
yeah,
I knew that Ant was like, no one was going to stop Ant from getting downhill to the basket. No one was going to stop Rudy Gobert. That's for damn sure. And, like LeBron's too old to be jumping up with Rudy Gobert. Like,
yeah. And it's funny because like Rudy, like that's the best part is like the big on the Timberwolves that like did the most was literally Naz Reid this time. He had 23 points and Julius Randle had 16 points. Rudy Gobert was in there for defensive purposes and defensive purposes only, it feels like, because he only had 2 points and that was off of 2 shots. Like he literally was 1 for 2. His entire thing was just literally standing there being a rim protector. And that's all he did. No one was getting past him. He was a plus 14 with his 2 points in the game. He had 6 rebounds, but he just like, that's literally, I think, what they utilized him for. Then you have guys like Julius Randle and Naz Reid, who are still way bigger than everyone else on the Lakers.
And what did we say?
Them.
What did we say Friday? We said their role players can get hot. Like, they had, and when Jaden McDaniels plays like he did, he was 25 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists and a steal, literally shot 84%. Do I think that's maintainable? No, which is why I do think this will be a long series. But I don't think the Lakers expected that. I think that must have shook them a little bit. The Rui, LeBron, Luka, and Reeves lineup got absolutely, and then they had like someone else, they had just like stretches, like switching in and out. It was awful, like literally awful. There was no defense, which was confusing because they played such great defense, especially that game that they beat us when they first got Luka, like that. And then they had that many open threes. Like, what are you doing? It was so good because they asked Ant after the game if it's hard playing in LA. And he said, no, I've played in Denver. I was like, shout out.
That.
Yeah. I was like, I wish you weren't such a terrible human being, Ant, because I would like you, I think. Maybe, who knows?
Yeah.
But
I think that, and I'm so with you though, just like in regard to like their shooting, because like, I don't think that the Wolves are going to maintain 52% from the field and 50% from 3. And I also don't think that the Lakers are going to maintain shooting, what was it, like 20% from 3? Something disgusting like that.
Something insane.
It was, okay, I'm sorry, 36%, and then 36% or 39% from the field. If you're shooting 40% or below on everything, that's an issue. And like you said, like way too much iso ball. I know that when they tried to pass, people weren't making their shots, but they had 15 assists in this entire game. Yeah. In the entire game. Like that's, the Wolves doubled their assists. Like you've got to still try to pass the ball, even if it's like cutting and getting to the basket. That's an assist. You don't need to take these guys one-on-one. The Wolves have a lot of great defenders. They've got a lot of fast defenders. They've got a lot of good ISO defenders. And that's just how they are. And like, so if you have one good guy on your team right now, Luka's the only one putting up numbers because like LeBron wasn't doing much except for like in the second quarter and the second quarter only.
I think this is a bad matchup for the Lakers, and they hadn't really seen it because I think people had been sitting in their last matchups of the year or something. So I think this is like with the Nuggets, like the Wolves are a terrible matchup for us. I think they're a bad matchup for the Lakers, and I think that I wouldn't be surprised if like the Wolves win in 6, and I would be pleased actually if that happened. I would be ecstatic. Over the moon
too. I'd be super happy. I think that every game, not every game, but like maybe these last few games in this series are probably going to be closer. I don't think that anyone's really going to be winning by 21 anymore. And if they do, shame on you, coaches, because
that next game, the next game we're talking about, I sure think might.
Well, I was talking about this game only. I was talking about that series. None of those ones are going to be, none of the Lakers or Timberwolves games, I think, are going to be winning by 20 every single time.
On the other hand, ready?
Grizzlies.
Caitlin, ready? On 3. 1, 2, 3. Cancun!
Cancun. I was like, in the arms of the angel. I was singing for the Grizzlies.
In the arms of the angels. Yeah, that was awful. That was so awful. And I couldn't even talk my shit because Nuggets like literally did something similar in game 6 of last year against the Wolves. So I was like literally had so much shit to say. And I was like, you know what? Can't really say much, but wow.
That was a disgusting game of basketball.
That was disgusting. Shai, how do you let Shai? That's like a dream, is for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander to be shooting 16%, to be 1 for 10 shots in the third, and you let J-Dub literally put you to sleep, rock you to sleep. Shai sat and they went on like a 30-5 run. Mind you, here's my hot take for the day. Bold take. I think OKC is better without SGA. Spencer, oh my gosh. How dare I? The like immediate energy boost that they got when Shai sat, and the way they started playing so free and so like such like spreading out the offense because they weren't worried about Shai getting the basket, like getting the ball to Shai and like, oh my God, Shai has to have the ball. Was incredible. And then they went on a 30-5 run. Like they were, you know, literally carving them up and down the court. Shai was so bad. And then he sat and they were incredible. Like they won by 50. It was the largest margin, or the fifth largest margin in a playoff game, and like the first in a game one. Game one.
I did see that it was the first in the game one.
Yeah. So like they, you know, I thought Chet was incredible in this game. I need to go and like read how many points they had. J-Dub, of course, was like literally I was gonna say like doing his thing.
While you go look for the points, what I'm going to say, I'm going to add on to your hot take because I agree in some instances and in some I don't. And that's only because there are days, like for me, the days where Shai is inefficient, I think that everyone else on their team can get hot. And I do think that they're better without him, because when he's inefficient, a lot of the times he tries to get himself going, like going 1 for 10 or trying to, you know, bait fouls. Because like I've said, like there are times in the past where, you know, his team is down. Obviously that didn't happen even. Yeah. They did not sniff being down on the Grizzlies at all this game. But there are times like where he struggles with being efficient. And those are the times where he starts to bait the fouls the most, because he knows that that's a way that he can score and can get to the line for his team. And so, you know, good on you for trying to score for your team. But I do think that it causes a lot of turnovers when he's shooting 1 for 9 and he's still continuing to do that. And so when he sits
1 for 10
and it lets, 1 for 10. Thank you. And then he sits and the rest of his team kind of gets to eat. And I really do. I know that a lot of people all season, maybe not national media, maybe, you know, I don't really know, but a lot of like fans and a lot of people that have been hyping up SGA for MVP have literally been calling their team a lottery team without SGA, or, you know, like a bottom score. 5. Yes, saying that no one else besides SGA can score, that SGA doesn't have a lot of assists because no one on his team scores when he passes to them. And I just like, it's just bullshit. You have literally 7 or 8 guys that can shoot well.
I think they like minimum have 9 NBA starters on their team.
Yes, they have I always say, you and I joked around that they literally have like 2 starting lineups, and that's just like, that's how it feels, is that like they have so many great players. And so I think when SGA is inefficient, it is better for him to sit, because everyone else on their team can go to work, and they are all great scorers. They're great offensive players. They're phenomenal. I do think that when SGA is playing his like damn good, like efficient basketball, and he's hitting those mid ranges and driving to the basket, when he's playing like that, I don't think that they're better without him, because the days that he's like that, he will score and he will do it all the time.
I just wanted to comment on this. Shai went into StatPad.
I believe that.
And I hate to be that person, but Shai literally went back into StatPad. So I'm not like,
Did he go back in?
Yes.
I don't even remember seeing him go back in. That's crazy.
So
that's shameless. Oh, I think it was when I started my nap. That makes sense.
Anyway, my other issue, like with, and I'm shout out OKC. They are deep as the Mariana mother effing trench. But my issue, and the Wolves are like this too, which I mean, I think they were fine against the Lakers, but these teams that like are known for being like the best defensive teams and like all that are allowed to like foul way more for whatever reason, because it's like their reputation that they're just like a hard-nosed defender. And so then like they're just allowed to get away with more, which is so dumb.
Which coach yelled about that earlier this season? It was either Ime Udoka. Oh, was it Chris Finch earlier in the season?
Well, Chris Finch said that OKC fouls a lot and then you can't touch Shea.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I remember Chris Finch saying that. And then someone else, it was either the Rockets coach or the Raptors coach. I remember because it was a red team.
Yeah.
But they got to their post-game presser and they essentially said the same thing. They were just like, OKC fouls a lot. Like they continuously foul. They continuously fouled. Yeah. JB Bickerstaff might have also said it. But, like all they do is foul. But it doesn't get called because they're just a great defensive team, and they're
just
and the
such
thing is,
good defenders.
And like I get it in certain instances. Like the thing about OKC is that they do have 5 of the best defenders in the league.
Yeah.
5 of the top 10 defenders in the league, and a lot of them are amazing one-on-one defenders. Like, have some of the fastest feet and hands I've ever seen. Alex Caruso, Lou Dort, like these guys are phenomenal. And I think when you have guys like that can play up, like a Dyson Daniels or whoever it is, when they can play up and be like 3 inches away from you, they're going to foul, and they're going to foul a lot. And refs are just like, oh, they're playing their super close defense, and then they just don't end up calling it. And so, it sucks for the teams on the receiving end of it that they kind of get the longer leash. And you're right, the Timberwolves do that a lot too. They're big on that. I feel like the Pistons are also like that, but I feel like they get called for it a lot more than like they have a shorter leash for their
100%.
For their quicker one-on-one defense, I guess.
It's the Pistons.
In my opinion.
They were bad last year. It's so annoying.
Yes. Kaden, I saw that too. I was like, why are you laughing when you're down by 50, Jaw? You need to be in the back game planning. What the hell?
I mean, they could not shoot a ball into an ocean. It was painful. They could not deal with the physicality. And to be fair, this is a horrible matchup for the Grizzlies and has been all year. They've lost by like 20, I think, in all 4 matchups or something close to that in like all 4 matchups with OKC. So I was literally not banking on Grizzlies doing literally anything. Zach Edey, it is so obvious that he is he still a rookie this year?
Zach Edey, yes, he's a rookie.
It is so obvious. He will I think he can be good eventually, but he really does make like a lot of like just silly mistakes that people like teams like OKC are going to eat you alive for.
Well, absolutely. The thing that people actually said at the beginning of the year was Zach Edey, because I'm so with you. And I was actually thinking this last game, how much it showed. The thing with Zach Edey is that he's a huge body, which is awesome. 7'2", big dude. He's not super skinny like Chet.
No, he's 7'4".
Okay. Yeah. 7'4". You're so right. And he's not like Chet is super skinny. He's like a pretty beefy 7'4" ass dude. Yeah. And I
didn't even know that was possible.
Literally. And a lot of people were talking about it, and I always noticed it. I watched him at Purdue last year before he got drafted, obviously, and I watched him in the Final Four. I got to see him in person and see him play. And all I could think, and all that everyone said even after that, even during the draft, was like, he's a big body. He's got no post skill. He's got no actual just center skill. Like, he doesn't have any moves. He can't work around guys. Like, he's great for a rebound and great for a dunk. But like, if he has to actually post someone up, like, he'll literally pass it back out.
He gets the ball stripped a lot.
Yes, exactly. He doesn't know how to play against an actual good rim protector or guy defending him in the post. He doesn't know how to back someone up. He doesn't know how, he doesn't know how to shift his body or shift his weight or, turn and throw in a little floater. Like, he's got no moves, no real basketball skill. I'd really love to see him refine that. over the series, because then, I mean, if you think about it, not over the series, but just over the next year or two before the next year, because I'm going to be honest here, Memphis is going to skedaddle real quick in this playoff series. But yes,
Jaren
yes, and then
Jackson
Jaren Jackson Jr. was also invisible, and he's your
Desmond
only
Bane,
big.
like,
yes.
what are you like? What are we doing?
It was pretty crazy. I don't really have much to say about this except for the fact that I just think that OKC's way better.
Question mark?
Yeah, have some shame for sure. OKC's way better. I think they're going to probably sweep and call it a day.
And it was embarrassing.
It was.
The next
OKC
two games,
showed why they're the number one seed.
The last two games, like before we get to Warriors and Rockets, I don't have a ton to say. I think Celtics, I know a lot of people are talking about Jason Tatum because their issue with him is that he has like too frequently disappeared in game or just not had it in certain games. And I think that's
interesting. Okay.
Like because they were saying, because people were mad yesterday, like on the timeline, they were talking, and I think it was a lot of Celtics fans. They were like no one ever says that like SGA is like would get carried or anything, but they say it about Tatum, and everyone was like, they were like, I don't see a problem with Tatum only, like getting 17 points, being 8 from 22. They were like, I have a problem with how often it happens. Mm-hmm. They were saying like, I just think it happens.
Tour dates. Yes. Pistons talk. He was shooting tour dates.
I'm crying. 1 for 8 from 3, 0 from 4 from the free throw line. I was absolutely
tragic,
dying.
Actually, I
was actually dying when he like had that flagrant from KCP and fell like on his wrist and was like literally rolling around, and Joe Mazzulla was like, "Get up!" So funny. Joe Mazzulla literally looked at the trainer and stopped him and said, "Don't go over there." And he said, "Get up!" Like, he was like, "You're whining about a wrist injury," which I actually like have grown a more appreciation for Tatum just watching like the documentaries that came out and stuff like last year. Like I really do like him as a person, but like I understand what they're saying. Like it's insane that like Derek White is considered like what the third or fourth best player on a given night, but like literally dropped 30, like 7 for 12 from 3-foot line or 3-point line. Derek White, whenever you want to come back to Colorado, that'd be amazing. The Nuggets would be honored to have you.
I was trying to find my middle school yearbook so that I could find his 7th grade picture.
Did you find it?
No, I don't. I need to find which box it's in. But if you don't know, I went to middle school with Derek White.
And he was nice.
And yes, and he was the only. I was bullied like profusely in middle school. I was not a cute kid. Okay, like
I was also bullied profusely in middle school and was a very ugly kid.
I didn't turn like normal looking. And I don't want to like call myself pretty or anything like that, but like I did not turn into like a more than average person until like last year. Okay. So like middle school is a really bad time for me, and everyone was very, very mean. The entire basketball team was very, very mean. And he was the only one that was nice to me. He never bullied me. And he was just great. He was so much fun to watch. He did have hair back then. You're cute. I love it. You were adorable. I'm not saying like you're like this hottie a toddy. I'm saying you're just such a little cutie. Oh.
Someone help.
Oh no.
I always say though that girls that were like really ugly, aka like they were bullied a lot, end up being like the nicest and funniest people because like we didn't have our looks going for us.
And so you had to be funny.
We had to have personalities.
Yep. Period. I agree. That was me.
Kaden said, did he have hair back then?
No. If you remember, do we all remember his afro from 2 seasons ago with the headband? He's had that his whole life. Yeah. No, that's what he had in middle school. He literally had that exact afro. That's why I wanted to find a picture of it. I need it. I need to find my middle school yearbook.
I know you need to. Does your mom have it, or do you have it somewhere?
My mom might have it. My mom might have it, and so when I go there in a couple weeks, I'll have to look. But either way, I think that the Celtics are going to smash in the series. They didn't really turn into the Celtics, I think, until after the half.
100%. It was very
so
close.
slow.
I felt like, and then they, they got back to business. I'm not worried about them in this series at all. The Magic, Orlando Magic. I'm begging you to get a point guard. Like it would do wonders for you.
Jordan,
you want him on the Magic? Interesting.
I would love that. Yeah,
Wait,
I think he makes sense on the Magic.
Would you still be a Wizards fan if he left?
I would. I would love to still watch a little baby Wizards. They're so cute.
Then you will just also be a Magic fan?
Listen, I haven't talked to a therapist about how I'm going to break this up yet. Okay, this is going to be a lot for me. It's going to be a big shift in the universe. So we'll figure that out.
We'll figure that out.
Yeah, I just think that I was going to say Paolo and Franz are going to be carrying.
Yeah, God bless them.
Yeah, they're going to be carrying.
KCP has not had a great season after leaving Mr. Jokic, so I hope he's enjoying his check that he got, his big check. My take on Cade Cunningham, take on most improved. I love Cade Cunningham. I think he's incredible, but I think he was also the #1 pick last year and was already incredible, and I think Christian Brown deserves the MIP. Thank you. Moving on. Cavs versus Heat. I wanted to start this off with what I texted Caitlin was shout out to Spo, man, because he can take any shitty team and kind of keep them in the mix. Like I knew they weren't winning, but
He's got a good game plan.
Listen, the fact that he didn't let the Cavs OKC Grizzlies them, shout out to Spo, man. He's awesome. He's the best.
He is. And you know what? I feel like this game went exactly kind of how I expected. And like you said,
I'm going to be honest,
he's a great coach.
I fell asleep halfway through into this game, so I don't have a lot to say.
Dead. I was watching. I really love Andrew Wiggins, and I want Andrew Wiggins to succeed so painfully. I just obviously, you end up playing the Cavaliers, who are the #1 seed for a reason, and they're a fantastic team. And like watching the Cavs in this game, I know that they're playing the Heat, and I don't want to downplay the Heat because, no, I have got no because. I don't want to downplay the Heat because it's mean, because I feel bad. They're still, they've got so many good basketball players. Tyler Hero's been playing, so well. Yeah. Bam Adebayo's been playing so well, but I just feel like the Cavs are just too good. I don't think the Heat have really even a comfortable chance. The Cavs were completely dominant and elite on the offensive end and the defensive end. You've got everyone buying in. Everyone was playing fantastic. Everyone
Darius
was hustling
Garland.
The entire time. Yes. Yes. I'm how are you guys stripping the ball every other possession and clean blocks and just phenomenal, just forcing turnovers left and right. And their offense is it's so beautiful because they're another team to me, like the Pacers, with Donovan Mitchell not scoring as much. Oh, excuse me. I can't even hear myself. With Donovan Mitchell thank you very much. With Donovan Mitchell not scoring as much this season, just as a whole, he's kind of had a down season in regard to scoring. And with that, I feel like so many other guys on his team have kind of rose to the occasion. And they remind me a lot of the Pacers, where now they're kind of a team with a starting five that could put up 15 to 20 points a game. Any of these guys can work you on offense or defense. And they're just a phenomenal team. They're so dominant. And watching them play, even a team like the Heat, I feel like the Heat are always players that have that fight in them, have that dog in them. They're physical, they're fast, and they just they couldn't even hang. They could not hang with the Cavs for more than a half, and the Cavs just pulled through. They're great, and I just expect the rest of that to. Oh man, Ty Jerome, give me Ty Jerome. I love him. I loved him when he played for the Warriors.
He's a free agent after this season.
Mm-hmm. He had a 2-year contract with them, I think. Yeah.
He's going to get paid. Yeah, he's definitely a free agent because they are not going to be able to afford him.
Yeah, agreed with all of their other players. But I think that the series is going to go exactly how game one went. Unfortunately, I would love to see the Heat, pull one out, make it a little bit of a longer series. I just don't think it'll happen.
I think it could, because I only say this because there were a couple games during the season that the Heat did shock, even with all their issues with Jimmy Butler. So I'm like, I could see them maybe getting one. I think they have the potential to. I don't know if it'll happen, if that makes sense. But I think
totally
they have the ability that they could pull one out. I think we'll just have to see.
Yeah.
I mean, when you have Spoelstra, you have a good shot.
Yep.
But let's end it out talking about Warriors versus Rockets, because the Warriors did what they always do, Caitlin, and to be up 20 and then give it all away and then still win.
Don't worry about me. I definitely didn't have
a panic attack. No,
last night.
Was even keel.
Calm as a cucumber.
Yep.
Yep. I didn't stress out. Listen. This is exactly what the Warriors do. Piss me off. Listen. Ugh. They make me so mad watching them. Okay, look. Here's the thing. Here we go.
I hope that this isn't me after game 2 tonight. Someone was like, either enjoy the game or crash out. And I was like, I don't want to crash out.
I can't. Yeah, that was me. No, literally. I lived through this game exactly how I lived through most other Warriors games, where I just have no idea what's going to happen. Are they going to give up the 20-point lead and let them win by 10? What?
That's actually a great idea. Our friends in the chat.
Mm-hmm. I saw that comment too, and I was like, that's a great idea. Trae Young is such a good, pure point guard. He makes sense.
Oh, okay. I like that. We'll table that and talk about it another time.
I like this game.
I like this game.
Yeah, I just think that the Warriors are really good at kind of giving things away when they want to. And it was very stressful. They had a 20-point lead, and I was like, there's no way this sticks, by the way. I literally, when the Warriors were up 20, I literally was like, there is a very good chance that we still lose this game. By the way, I can't get excited. It is because they're so good. And that's what Steph was talking about after the game is as fast as you can give up a 20-point lead, you can also build a 20-point lead. And he's like, and that's where our experience comes in, is that we can kind of watch the 20-point lead kind of wash away. And it terrifies us because they do have young guys. Obviously, you can't have Jimmy, Draymond, and Steph on the court at all times. You do have to have other people sub in. Unfortunately, they can't play 48 minutes a night. And, so he's just sometimes you just watch the lead kind of wash away, and then you just can't let it get to you. You have to still play super composed, slow basketball.
Shout out to Steph for making some big time shots last night.
God, he's everything. There were so many plays, so many threes that he made because he missed his first 3 threes. He missed his first 3. And I was like, oh no, because
it's going to be a long night.
Yeah, the Rockets held him to 3 points last time they played him, and it was towards the end of the season.
Yes, Amen Thompson, the Curry stopper, supposedly.
Of course, Amen Thompson had a rough game. I was very
did, and I
surprised.
love him, but he did not have a great game.
Yep, and I'm so with you. I just feel like one thing that I always say with Steph is that if his threes aren't falling, he's a fantastic finisher. Drive to the basket. Literally, he's the kind of guy, we all see him do his pre-game warm-ups and stuff. He'll literally just throw a ball in the air, have it bounce, and the bounce will get in the basket.
That's
He'll
how I
throw
feel
the ball
about
50
Tatum.
feet in the air and it falls.
They're not the same player, but when I see Tatum going 1 for 10 from 3, I'm like, dude, you're a big, and Tatum's huge. I'm like, go to the basket, dude. He's muscly.
Not only that, but you have one of the best mid-ranges in the game, Jason Tatum.
Yeah.
Use it. Yes,
Period.
So with you there. But so it was really nice to see Steph start driving, and he did. He literally had 6 points just off of 3 drives, because people don't really know what to do when Steph drives, because you can have 3 defenders on him, and he's literally, like I said, he'll throw the ball in the air with some sort of weird ass spin, and it's going to go in, and it sucks.
I love because Jamal does those circus shots too, where he'll get inside and throw it all the way up, and it magically goes in. I think Steph probably has more of them, but it is so fun as a fan. Or just a fan of basketball to watch them literally throw up a layup that's woo, woo, and then it goes in. You're like, what the hell, dude? Like, where did you
do that?
Where did that come from?
Yeah. And I just think that like the thing about this game is that I don't think that this game was a full representation of how this entire series is going to look. 95-85 is a way lower scoring game than I would have expected. And both teams shot like shit. So Rockets were
Fred
39.
VanVleet and Jalen Green.
Disgusting.
Battle of ass on the same team is diabolical.
So bad. They were so bad.
Şengün was trying his best to keep y'all in that game.
He did his very best.
He was trying his darndest, and
he did his very best.
Steven Adams was great, and when they had Steven Adams and Şengün, I think that's when they were able to chip away at that lead because Warriors just simply could not grab a rebound. Well, they were so big that like Warriors could simply not get a single rebound. And and I guarantee you, like as soon as Steven Adams, which I'm like, I don't know why they put him back on the bench because he was the reason, in my opinion, that they were making that work and kind of fighting back. And then
it's that double big look that the Warriors can't handle. The Warriors don't have any bigs. Put two bigs on them and they already have, giant other players. We're screwed.
So I feel like, Steve Kerr was probably like,
they out rebounded us 52-36. They killed us on the glass.
Yeah. One thing I will say is I really think Pods is better off ball. I don't think he needs to have the ball like ever, but he is so active and like plays really well off the ball. And I love when he does that, but I don't think he should be handling the ball.
Yeah. And you know what? It's funny because that's kind of like what I was thinking too. And this is the thing with Pods is that this is his first NBA playoff series.
Yeah. I forgot about that until I was watching last night. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is like his debut, which is wild.
It is. Yeah. And he's starting him and Moses Moody. And so like those are really big moments for them. And so,
shout
guys
out to
like
Moses
Pods,
Moody, man.
His story, if you don't know about Moses Moody, I literally have a meeting for work in like 14 minutes, so I'm gonna hurry this up. But if you don't know about Moses Moody, he literally has been a stay ready guy on the Warriors for the last 3 years. He's been phenomenal. Every time he comes in, everyone's always like, why wouldn't you keep him in? Why would you not keep him in the game? If you ever need a bet, just bet Moses Moody for at least 1 3 because that's what he does. Yeah. He just comes in and he drains a 3 every time.
Said this, I remember talking about this with you at the beginning of the season.
Yeah. Yes. And that's just like, that's how he is. And he's had a lot of like really big ups and downs with his minutes and with his play on the Warriors. And everyone is like, aren't you mad? And Moses Moody just, for the last couple of years has just been like, look, like I decided to develop in the NBA. I decided to forego college and develop in the NBA. I know that I'm not going to be a starter on a team with Steph Curry and Draymond Green and Klay Thompson.
Yeah.
And, all these guys. Like, I'm aware of that. Like, this is the best experience that I can get. And when my time comes, like, I'm going to be ready. And he's always done that. He's always stayed ready despite the inconsistencies. And now he's like getting his minutes and he's always been such a good, respectful guy, such a great player, a very coachable player. And now that he's getting his minutes, he's just doing so well. He's been great defensively and he's been such a consistent player. And so it's good to see him start and it's good to see him be a part of a winning team like this. And I hope they continue. But the Warriors seem very confident. They ended up winning by 10. And I got Warriors in 6. And no one can tell me anything about it.
Period.
Sorry, not sorry. Yeah. That's my thought.
Anyways, guys, I also have to leave for work in like 10 minutes and Caitlin has a meeting, which means our time with you is over. Make sure if you haven't already, like, comment, subscribe, do all the things. We will be back. I don't know. Are we going to do a midweek and Friday? What's the plan, sister? We'll discuss it.
I don't know. We'll have to talk about that and see what it looks like.
So make sure you click on our links below on YouTube so you can find, it's always on Twitter on our esports Twitter.
Put on the ding bell.
Yeah, put on the little notification bell. That'll work too if you don't have Twitter. But yeah, we had so much fun talking to you guys. I'm really nervous about the game tonight, but I'm going to be there. If you don't follow me on Twitter, make sure you do because I'll post lots of good content tonight. And yeah.
For the Nuggets and Clippers, yes. And make sure you guys follow us on our other socials. And make sure, again, you obviously like and subscribe on YouTube. That helps us the most. And we're so grateful. We're so happy to be here. We're so happy that you're here. And we will talk to you guys later this week.
Adios.